come up with that dog shit pick.
What the fuck were we thinking? What the fuck were you thinking?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Jimnasium. As always, it is me, XFL Jim. And I am joined by the man himself, Chase Sessoms, a.k.a. the Wolf of Oaklawn.
Oh, double. I love when you do it double.
Double it up. Double it up for a great weekend of college football. Well, not great for you or me, Chase, as fans of teams who did lose, some worse than others. We could get into that in a little bit, but it was overall, I think, a very exciting and fun weekend.
Yeah, it's certainly not a victory Monday, that's for sure. It seemed to be a fairly exciting weekend. I didn't get to watch a ton of it because I was in Branson, Missouri with the kids at Silver Dollar City, which was dope.
I was gonna say, what'd you all end up doing in Silver Dollar?
So I ate like 75 milligrams of edibles, and I went on
Pre-theme park edibles are great. They're that's a good one.
Yeah, so like, you know, high CBD ratio. I was just nice and loose, and I went on all the kiddie rides with my youngest daughter. Like, my favorite was what I like to call the brand neutral spin-a-fence. Like, they're the Dumbo elephants basically from like Disneyland, but they you know, it's Silver Dollar City and they're not Disney, so they're not the Dumbo ride.
The
so
non-copyright elephant ride.
Yeah, do not resemble any Dumbos, living or dead. Yeah, I call them the brand neutral spin-a-fence.
I like that. Chase, this is now, since I'm not on the phone for this episode, this is the first week that I don't know if you have. I haven't looked at the AP Top 25 this week.
I have not yet.
So we're coming back into it fresh as a daisy, but also I have finally updated it. We're basically, it's crazy that we're already on week 8. Like, we already just had week 8 of college football. That's like not really the halfway point. Week 7 would have been because there's 14 weeks total.
Right.
But
right.
Most teams have now played 6 games. So We're at the halfway point. I went back, tallied up exactly how we did in our preseason picks that we started in June, picking straight up.
Yeah.
Shout out Jeff in the chat, by the way. Would you like to take a guess on how we have our overall in the season?
Like a percentage?
Percentage. So out of 520 games total for college football this year,
I would like to say we're at least hitting it like a little 60, 70%.
You're almost right on the money. You are at 66.7%. I am at 69.4%. And that's after a dip in week 8. You hit this last week. You were at 47.6%. I was at 59.3%. I had some takeaways based on like going through all this data. A, we were flat wrong on Army and Navy.
Yeah,
we picked them to lose a lot of games.
We did, and that's why we bandwagon for them so hard now. It's like, yeah, we know what we did. We're making up for our sin here.
Both of us to some extent, but me to a very shocking degree, very high on UAB.
Oof.
And Trent Dilfer.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there.
Oh, that's tough for you, buddy.
It's very tough. Also, teams we got flat wrong. I think everybody got FSU wrong.
Totally. Yeah.
We had FSU winning a lot more games. Vanderbilt, we
overlooked the Pavia factor, man.
We like completely disregarded the Pavia factor because in one of the weeks you had Vanderbilt this last week losing to Ball State.
God damn it!
I know.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Another one that I looked at just for me, I did pick Arkansas over Tennessee.
All right, good for you. I'm pretty certain I picked Tennessee. Or wait, did I?
You did. You picked Tennessee that week, but we both picked Arkansas this week against LSU. It was a damn shame. We did both pick Illinois over Nebraska. So we
Okay.
called that one. We
definitely didn't call Illinois over Michigan, though.
I think one of us did. I don't remember which one. One of us did. Maybe both of us, but I think one of us did. There was a lot, but the main takeaways, we were very, very low on the service academies, very stupidly. Very high on UAB. Also way too high on UTSA.
Yeah, that's been just a massive disappointment.
App State as well. App State. Ugh.
Maybe massiver. Like, they've been getting that ass kicked.
They've been getting that ass whooped. Chase, are you ready to dive into the AP Top 25?
Let's get it.
It's a very short list this week of receiving votes compared to what we've had previous weeks.
Okay.
1 vote for Libibity.
And you knew they were going to sneak up into this.
They're undefeated. I mean, whatever. They're going to be hanging around probably for a little bit.
Yep.
1 vote for my Nebraska Cornhuskers. Get them out of there. Get them out.
That was a tough game.
I get Indiana's a really good team, but you can't lose like that and still be even receiving one. Who was drunk enough to give us 1 vote?
Dude, I don't know.
1 vote for the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Get them the fuck out of there.
South Carolina is an interesting team. I like their defense, especially I like their defensive line. To be 100%, I think they have a really good defensive line, and mediocre to bad team around it.
That quarterback sure coughs up the ball a lot, it seems.
Yeah,
was it Lenore, something like that?
Yeah, he's not great.
Yeah. I don't know, but it's Beamer ball, baby. They get after it on special teams.
Receiving 2 votes. It's the Duke Blue Devils.
I think they're a 1-loss team. It's time to be talking about Duke in the top 25.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a good spot for them hovering around.
Yeah.
5 votes for UNLV. I think
they could battle their way back in. They have to beat Boise State coming up.
I was gonna say that after this week, if they get a W this week, they're gonna be ranked, hands down.
Yeah, totally.
15 votes for Syracuse. Why aren't they ranked?
I don't know. They're quietly a 1-loss team, aren't they?
Yeah.
Did they lose to Stanford?
Yes, that is their only loss.
That's why they're not ranked. That's a bad loss.
That's not great. Stanford's always good. That's right. Ugh. And then 46 votes for Washington State.
Yeah, I mean,
solid.
They're the best. They're the best of the 2-pack.
And then Jeff is already spoiling it, but number 25, your Vanderbilt Commodores.
Let's clap it up, everybody. Let's clap it up for the. I'm wearing my black and gold for Vandy right now.
Let's go Vandy, dude.
Let's go Vandy.
The only thing going against Vandy is that goddamn Georgia State loss.
That's true.
That's a bad loss.
Like, I'm licking my chops at the, being able to really laugh at other fan bases whenever Vandy rolls in and beats them. The rest of the season, just like, oh my god, you've all been nipped, you've all been Vandied. All of you have been Vandied.
You know who could get Vandy this week?
Is it Kentucky?
Texas.
Ooh.
Oh, Vandy.
That Johnny football energy is for Pavia is enough to beat a team like that, dude. They're just coming off of an emotional loss to Georgia.
I want it. I want it so bad.
It could snowball really easily.
It's also at Vanderbilt.
You don't fuck around when you come to the open construction site.
Yeah, baby, I'm ready. 24, the Navy midshipmen.
They could even go higher in my book.
Yeah,
they're absolutely shredding right now.
They are demolishing teams. Absolutely demolishing teams.
Their quarterback can throw a little bit. It adds a whole lot to the triple option, man.
Speaking of which, at number 23, Army.
Love it. I love that they're right next to each other. Maybe that's why they're this low, is because they had to get slotted next to each other.
I had it in my notes too for the Army game, but I'm just gonna mention it now. Should Bryson Daly, if he keeps playing like this, he should get an invite to New York.
Totally.
He is this Army team.
It's an election year. Send somebody from Army to New York for the Heisman ceremony.
Because let me just pull up his stats real quick. Let me look up Bryson Daly stats. Okay. Let me see if
after that, I want you to
ESPN
look up Carson Daly's stats.
Let me see. Stats for Bryson Daly. Passing on the year, he's 27 for 47, 57% completion percentage, 629 yards, 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but also 138 carries for 909 yards. He's averaging 6.6 yards per carry, 19 rushing touchdowns.
That's an insane number. That the touchdown pace isn't like a whole lot far behind Genty's. Like when you consider how far Genty is out in front of everybody.
No, he's going crazy.
Yeah, dude, he's going bonkers. How many rushing touchdowns does Genty have? It's got to be like 26, 28, something like that.
Let me take a look. Ashton Genty, let's take a look-see. His stats on the year. 17.
He's got 17. So, hold on. You're telling me Bryson Daly has more rushing touchdowns than...
Are you telling me that Bryson Daly has more rushing touchdowns than Ashton Genty?
I'm glad that we looked this
He
up.
does! He has 2 more! He has 2 more rushing touchdowns. What was the yardage? 909. I mean, Genty has that by a mile.
Yeah.
What's 909 yards to Ashton Genty's? Okay, 1,248.
So he's got him by 300 yards, but you got the passing yardage with it, with the no turnovers.
And 2 more touchdowns.
And 2 more rushing touchdowns, dude.
Yeah, at least give him the invite. On an election year, Chase is right. Give him the invite.
Do it for America.
At number 22, it's SMU.
They quietly built a wagon in Dallas, Texas, man.
And their loss just keeps getting better and better, too. Like, everyone was writing them off after that BYU loss. It's only gotten better.
Yeah, man. They've had the most drastically improving loss of the entire season.
This is also them falling 1 spot. They were at 21 before.
They're a fun team. They can put up a ton of points, and I think the quarterbacks kind of figured it out.
I'm excited. The ACC race is... The ACC and actually every conference race is very exciting this year. I don't know if there's like specifically one team you can peg each conference.
Yeah, I have no idea who's going to win each conference at this point. I mean, Iowa State, Kansas State.
After we do the game recaps and whatnot, I actually have a list of conference standings to go through and kind of feel like which conference race is the most exciting.
Okay.
At 21, Missouri, falling 2 spots.
Don't
think they played this week. Did they? No, they did. Barely beat Auburn.
Barely escaped Auburn. Auburn had them beat. Dude, they're that team that just plays with their food, man. They just play with their food, and they deserve to drop after an ugly loss or after an ugly win.
At number 20, going up 2 spots, it's Illinois.
I feel like they should have moved up a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so too. Did you catch their helmets?
I heard about them with the leather painted on them.
They look good too.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
They did a good job of it. Number 19, it's Pitt.
Just quietly chugging along.
And dude, Pitt Syracuse is going to be a fun one this week. This is going to be a fun week. 18.
I feel like this is a Syracuse on the money line kind of week.
It might be. Ole Miss is 18.
Yeah, they got to keep playing their way back up. Their loss was not very good.
At number 17, falling 2 spots, they didn't play. Boise State.
Okay, I get it. Some teams around them won and they didn't play, so that makes sense.
At number 16 is Kansas State. Laid the wood out against West Virginia. At West Virginia, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an impressive win. Anytime you can go on the road in Morgantown.
And Avery Johnson's been looking better, like week in and week out too.
Jim, I just wish he would quit abusing his hair privileges.
That's fair. There's a couple quarterbacks I wish would quit abusing those hair privileges. At number 15, Alabama, falling 8 spots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's funny is they could still somehow probably make it into the playoff with 2 losses.
Oh, I mean, the SEC is not out of the question for Alabama. They could still fuck around and end up winning the thing.
Man.
That's 2 conference losses, which is tough. But, like, Tennessee has a conference loss. Georgia has a conference loss. Texas has one now.
Texas has a conference
loss. The
loss,
only team that doesn't have a conference loss is Texas A&M.
Yeah, and LSU.
Oh, that's right. They should have had one in South Carolina. They should have had one.
SEC leading Texas A&M and LSU.
Week 5, who would have thought that? Speaking of which, at number 14, it's Texas A&M. And they play LSU this week.
Texas A&M better than I thought they were going to be.
They look pretty good, defensively especially. I still don't know if I trust them. I don't know if I trust them, you know?
Nothing about Connor Wegman seems like trustable. You know? Like,
no.
It feels like he could just blow up any game.
Yeah, I feel like they could fall apart, and I'm just waiting for it.
Yeah.
You know who's not falling apart? Number 13, up 3 spots from last week. Indiana.
Dude, I'm sorry.
This team's a fucking wagon.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry for you for that. That was a 2 woodshed sort of beat down.
Oh, it was, dude. I can't even hate.
Yeah, man. I haven't gotten a chance to watch Indiana yet all year, so I'm gonna have to watch. Like, I have to watch Iowa State now. I have to watch Indiana.
Curtis Rourke probably out for like a week. Hurt his thumb in this one, but we'll talk more about the absolute beatdown that was a little bit later. Number 12, Notre Dame.
They just keep sneaking back up. But upset alert, dude. They got Navy this week.
Yeah, baby. How
feels like a sprinkle on the money line on Navy sort of week.
It's at Navy. I want it so bad for Navy and Army to beat Notre Dame.
That would be so sweet.
Number 11. It feels weird that they're number 11, but it's BYU.
They just... Hey, I could make a case for them being ranked even higher.
They're not always pretty, but they keep winning. Maybe,
dude.
Just, you know what, Chase? BYU could be this year's, like, Washington or TCU.
It's true. It's true. And I personally love their quarterback's whole BYU thing.
Yes, love it.
So great.
It's beautiful. Number 10, Iowa State.
Gotta watch Iowa State. Like, I've just kind of forgotten about Iowa State, but they're a 1-loss team. They're playing pretty well. I think you're set up for a banger Farmageddon this year.
Did fall 1 spot, but again, like, they almost lost to UCF. And this is not a good UCF team.
No, I was wrong about that.
Yeah, it looks like they're making a switch at quarterback, too.
Yep. I was wrong about that.
Top 10 Iowa State, though, is always a fun thing.
Yes, it is.
Number 9, Clemson.
Maybe Clemson's a lot better than I've been admitting. But I still don't think they've played a real team yet. I still don't. I think Virginia is the closest thing to a real team they've played so far.
Louisville
outside
this
of
week?
Georgia. Louisville could jump up and get them.
Louisville this week is going to be a very interesting measuring stick for Clemson. I just think a lot of Clemson games, like, the offense is good. Like, it is. I don't think if when Clemson makes the playoffs, probably fade them there. But I don't think I'm fading them at all in the ACC.
I still maintain that they've been coasting because they've been playing just nobody teams. And I think that as soon as they run into a team, I think Miami's the same way. Like, as soon as they get like a bad bounce, like, Miami's going to lose. And I feel like
The
you're going to get a bad game out of them at some point.
the difference I feel like between Miami and Clemson is Miami has been like a couple calls away from losing these games,
Right.
and Clemson has not been close.
Yeah, they've been blowing. I mean, but they've been winning against some really clunker teams, I'm saying.
Fair, yes. At number 8, LSU.
3-0 in the SEC.
They look pretty good doing it. They've looked better each week.
Their USC loss looks worse each week, though.
It does. The fact that it was early on in the season, though, I think people will forgive it. But I don't know. I can't fully trust Brian Kelly.
Oh, how can you trust a man who will just change his accent right there on the spot?
Exactly. A man I can trust. Number 7, Tennessee, Josh Heupel.
Fat Josh Heupel, he's hefty right now.
Yeah, he was hefty. They jumped up 4 spots here. And you know what? They don't look good, but they get the job done.
Yeah. That's, 2 weeks in a row that they haven't scored in the first half.
And that defense is good. That Tennessee defense is good.
Yeah.
Number 6, Miami.
They're one call or one bounce away from losing so many games, and it's gonna bite them. It's gonna bite them at some point. Like, I know they got the horseshoe all lodged up their ass. What team are they like last year that also had the horseshoe just way up their ass?
I mean, Washington to an extent.
Washington did play a bunch of really tight. It's kind of like that. Like, a couple.
They got like the weird Cam Ward magic too. Like when he turns it on, it is something fun to watch. He's not always like we're due soon for a sloppy Cam Ward game.
I think so. Or even just like a close game where it's just like a shootout and one thing doesn't go their way.
Number 5, Texas.
A deserved fall. They got pretty well handled at home.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I don't know if I don't see not keeping them out of the top 5. I still think they're a really good team. But
Do you think Sarkisian's going to do like a stupid 2-quarterback thing?
that was dumb, and I hope not. I really hope not. That's just not going to work for Texas. Again, this is a team that we talked about before this. What was the best team they played before Georgia? Was it Michigan? Was it Oklahoma?
It might have been Michigan.
And that's not saying much.
That's really not. No.
Number 4, Ohio State.
Just quietly chugging along, even with the one loss. Just quietly.
Just wait. They play Nebraska this week, baby.
Is this the week you get them, you think?
Oh, this is the week. We're
Yeah.
just rolling everyone to a false sense of security. We jump up.
I want to see it, Jim.
I'll give you a
want
stat
to
once
see
we
it.
go over the Indiana-Nebraska game because I don't think we will. Number 3, Penn State.
Quietly chugging along. James
Yeah.
Franklin's going to James Franklin some shit up pretty soon, though.
At Wisconsin this week is going to be an interesting one because Wisconsin's been doing pretty dang good recently.
Yeah. This would be a prime James Franklin in spot.
And number 2, it's Georgia.
Yeah, man, they played themselves back up. That was a sound ass whooping that they laid on Texas.
It wasn't. They didn't even look good doing it.
Yeah, they did.
Number 1, Oregon.
I mean, they've got the resume win over one of the best teams in the country. They're undefeated. They're blowing people out.
Yeah, give it to Oregon.
Yeah, dude.
I don't really have too many gripes with the AP Top 25 right now.
Me either. I think it's kind of started to shake out a little bit.
I'd probably bump Syracuse in there. They got 1 loss. I'd probably kick Missouri out, put Syracuse in. Or
Yeah.
Ole Miss. Ole Miss with 2 losses is still...
It's kinda tough.
I don't know if I like them being in.
I feel like if you're a 2-loss team, you should be just on the outside.
I agree. Now, Chase, to get into some games I have here on the list, game by game. Western Kentucky 31, Sam Houston 14. I highlighted this one just for the specificity that I think Western Kentucky is the only team that can challenge Liberty in the CUSA.
I think you're right. I think they're pretty salty on defense, and I think that offense can put up some points. So, I mean, they're going to be competitive. Their only losses, like the only losses they have, are non-conference, and it's to like BC
And Bama.
and Bama.
Dude, since that Bama game, that defense has turned on, though, too.
Yeah, it has.
FIU 21, UTEP 30. Eric is just seething at this FIU team every week.
Man, I just want to root for them because they had those dope Vice City uniforms.
They are so good.
The blue and the pink, just well, at Pitbull Stadium.
Oh, it's beautiful, but can't bring it. Duke 23, Florida State 16. This FSU team is legitimately bad. And I some people are saying, I don't know if I don't think so. What's your thought on the Mike Norvell potential hot seat?
I think early on they said, like, people came out and said his job is safe. And
that's where I'm at.
I think that I feel like that's the thing that you say before you fire a coach, though. Like, when you come out in a public show of support, like a few games in, like that's when you actually end up firing somebody. If you have to publicly say you support someone, shit's about to hit the fan.
I think so, potentially, but I think a lot of these high profile jobs like Florida State would have made the firing back in like week 5 if they were going to do it.
Yeah, probably. Oh, all I got to say is Dion loses Shedeur and Travis Hunter to the NFL next year, right?
Yes.
He's alum. He knows how to work the portal. He'd have more NIL at FSU than you could fucking shake a stick at.
Potentially. I do think Mike Norvell, with the classes he's bringing in next year, I think he's safe, though.
Recruiting classes just don't count for as much.
NIL goes for that, too.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they came out after like there were like 3 losses. Now there have been 6. 6.
Yeah, I don't know how bad it can get, but we'll see. We will see this year.
How many more losses in a row does Mike Norvell have to get to get fired?
Personally, I don't think he gets fired this year with anything.
So you don't think like
I think
if
like
it gets
3
to,
wins and he still keeps his job even. 3 wins.
Let's say it gets to like 1-9.
Like
say
his
it gets
only
to, like,
win is
that
Cal.
point. Yeah, going down the road, like he loses 3 more in a row. Like, does your opinion change?
No, I think he's okay. I still think he's safe.
Okay, we'll see. I hope he doesn't. I mean, I'm not cheering for the man to lose his job. It just feels
If he does, he's getting picked up right away, I think.
maybe
If not for like a head coaching, like a coordinator job somewhere.
probably a pretty high profile one. He could be like a Alabama reclamation. Well, I guess Nick Saban isn't there to do that anymore.
I mean, he would be. I think if he did get fired and was going to be a coordinator somewhere, he would be a hot commodity.
Yeah, for sure.
Oregon 35, Purdue 0. Oregon didn't get Purdue.
No, they didn't. They're just a pretty sound football team, and they're pretty soundly beating the teams they should beat pretty bad.
Yeah, and Purdue's probably the worst team in the Big Ten. I think we can confidently say that.
Them or, I mean, I was going to say Northwestern, but I'm not sure if that's true.
Northwestern's been putting up a fight.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State 35, BYU 38. They keep doing it.
They just snuck it out. But for Oklahoma State, it looked like they kind of got Ollie Gordon going a little bit. Like he had a rushing touchdown right off the bat, which they really haven't been able to do all season. So maybe like it's looking up, but like it's not looking great.
No, I mean maybe I wish this would have happened for Oklahoma State a few weeks ago, but also I don't trust their quarterbacks at all. I don't trust the pass game, so.
And that dude is like 30 years old. How can we not trust him yet?
I know, right? Absolutely insane. Yeah, Oklahoma State. This is nothing but a disappointing season for Oklahoma State, which means If Gundy's back next year, if he doesn't want to retire or anything, I'm all in on Oklahoma State next year.
No expectations, Oklahoma State.
That's what it's going to be. Fresno State 24, Nevada 21. Just good job, Fresno.
Let's go Fresno State. Great to see it happen.
I think the Mountain West has kind of turned into like a 2-horse race, but still.
Yeah. It's a team that we always root for, at least.
ECU 28, Army 45.
You've run face first into the Army buzzsaw, ECU. It's just sick what they're doing to people. They're hitting their overs, like they're almost hitting the overs on their own. Mm-hmm. They're covering big numbers. Like they covered 17 this week.
They pushed on 17. I got it at 17 and a half. I was pissed. But
I think I might have got it at 17 and a half as well.
Also, they caused the first coach firing of the season. ECU fires Mike Houston after this game.
They were supposed to be the most improved team in the country, Jim.
And they have been bad.
They have been bad. Dude, I think it's just really when you have these two service academies and their offenses are like super clicking, I think it's so hard to stop, and they're just a complete buzzsaw for teams right now. Like, cause how do you prep for that? You can't.
You can't. I'm seeing I didn't look at the game stats. We just looked at his season stats. This is why Bryson Daly. His stats here: he throws for 1 touchdown in this game and ran for 5 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah, man.
I had this one on like a screen on the side. I was just watching the points go. I was like, Jesus.
This dude just like John Wick shreds, dude. Like he is fucking sick with it. Like the way he runs that offense, and the fact that like he is really just not that great of a passer, but like he's an efficient passer when he does throw the ball.
Yeah, like Navy is the better passing team, easily out of the two. But
yeah, which
Army,
makes them even more dangerous, I think.
I also think Navy's the more dangerous team, but I think like when you have a guy like Bryson Daly, he can just take over a game.
Yeah, man, when they play against each other, that is going to be a slugfest, I think, because both those teams know how to defend the fucking triple option.
Jeff brings it up too. Army, Navy, Vandy. It's like option football's back in the limelight.
Yeah, dude. And Army and Navy, they're back in the limelight with no NIL, no real transfer portal. Like, if anyone's in the portal, they're leaving Army or Navy.
On the ECU side, what coach do you think should ECU try and get?
Oh man, I think ECU has to go like the coordinator route. Probably you're not reeling a big name into ECU.
FCS?
I don't think.
Can they go from the FCS?
I mean, you can always pull someone up from the FCS, sure. FCS or coordinator, I think, would be the two routes.
I think those are
I don't think they're snagging anyone for like a lateral move or anything.
Maybe a coach that gets fired, like a P4 coach that gets fired, maybe.
Yeah,
like Norvell.
That's hilarious.
Where was I? Nebraska 7, Indiana 56. The stat I wanted to bring up, Indiana is just legitimately a good team. I saw a lot of predictions now having them in the playoffs, which would be absolutely insane. B, this makes 26 ranked team losses in a row for Nebraska. 26 losses to ranked teams in a row.
That transcends coaching staffs.
These stats just keep getting better. It's been 3 coaching staffs of that. So all the stats for Nebraska go back to 2016, which is the last time they made a bowl. It's like since then, it's however many games against ranked opponents, however many one-score losses.
Yeah.
No win. The overtime one is crazier. The overtime wins, if we would have ever make it to overtime again, is since 2014. But there's just stats upon stats upon stats that are crazy. And a lot of people are pissed off in this one. And I think, understandably so, Nebraska fans are like torn into 2 different directions. I think it's okay to be pissed. I think you shouldn't be pissed that you lose to Indiana because Indiana's a really good team.
But
there's no excuse to get fucking boat raced.
Yeah.
Our offensive line is garbage. The receivers are supposed to be these 4-star guys that are like not getting separation. Our offensive line is injured and terrible. And Dylan Raiola has looked worse every week since the Colorado game. We have been getting worse as the season goes on.
That's tough because you expect him to go the other way, traditionally.
So a lot of people are saying heads need to roll, and I think probably I think the OC, we need to make an OC change probably.
He's not far enough into his contract yet that you can fire Matt Rule. So
I'm not even.
But it's definitely an OC can go after this.
Like Matt Rule stay. Matt Rule stay for sure. I think we're not on the quick trigger right now. Although it is very frustrating to see a school like Indiana get a first-year head coach and they're just turned around like that.
Yeah, they're really good though.
Different situation. They're really good. They're really good. They have a great coach, Kurt Signetti, with all-time quote, which I think it was last week, where they were asking him something about him. He's like, "Oh yeah, I just win. Google me."
That's
Beautiful.
See, that's the opposite Dan Lanning. That's the big dick energy versus the Dan Lanning small dick energy.
But he brought in a bunch of studs from JMU who are contributing a ton on defense.
He brought in Curtis Rourke.
Curtis Rourke, who, if you guys have been following the MAC at all for the last 3 years, has been a stud.
Yeah. Yeah, stud at Ohio, dude.
But this is another painful Nebraska loss. I thought we were over the embarrassing losses.
Yeah, I think you rebound at least though. Who do you have next?
Ohio State.
You just got caught. You just got smacked in the mouth in a look ahead spot for Ohio State.
Fair, but also this is off of a bye week.
Okay, yeah.
It's tough.
It's tough.
And when I go through Nebraska's schedule, Chase, remember, what was it? Week 3, week 4, I was on top of the world. I was like, oh, there's a chance we could win 9 games, maybe 10 games.
And then now it turned into let's just battle it out for a bowl. Let's just battle it out for a bowl game.
So we need 1 win. We got Ohio State, UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, Iowa.
Man.
We got to win 1.
I'll go through with my hogs what I see because I feel like we're going to be scrapping for a bowl game too, dude.
You and me both, brother. If we don't make a bowl, I said at the start of the year, if we don't make a bowl, this season is an abject failure.
Man, 20 lost 62 games against ranked teams.
Really needed that Illinois win.
It was 26, not 62.
Yeah, 26 straight ranked opponents that we have lost to.
Yeah, man.
UCLA 35, Rutgers 32. This brings me to my next point that UCLA looks better.
They do look better. Rutgers, what the hell? You can't let these kids come over, play at 9 a.m. their time, and let them kind of manhandle you. They came back and made it a game late, but they were pretty well on top of Rutgers most of this game.
I think this is just kind of Rutgers was a team early on in the season that was very much overperforming what its capabilities probably were. And they're kind of falling back to the mean right now.
Feel like you get a lot of unders in their games coming up.
I think you probably will. Wisconsin 23, Northwestern 3.
If you're Wisconsin, that's a game you got to win. If you're fickle.
Yeah, I think good job on them. I think that's probably a look-ahead spot. I forget who they have coming up. They have Penn State. So, yeah, probably a look-ahead spot.
And they handle business in the look-ahead spot, so.
And their strength coach jumped in the lake after.
All right.
Which I always love to see. That's always fun.
No, I'm a good lake jump.
Auburn 17, Missouri 21.
If Auburn was going to get one, this was going to be it, man.
They weren't, and they aren't. Auburn's a bad team. And I feel like Auburn is doing the thing where they've had a couple games. They should have won the Oklahoma game.
Yeah.
They probably should have won this one. They're snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Do you think Hugh Freeze is on the hot seat?
I think, dude, you would argue it's like let him bring in the quarterback, but also they chose to keep Peyton Thorne.
Yeah. Peyton Thorne was still the best option that they could trot out, man.
They're gonna miss a bowl game for sure. And I think he's safe this year. I think he's going into next season on the hot seat. You hate to see it.
Hate to see it. Just couldn't happen to better people.
For you, Chase, it would be kind of funny if they win their next game, though. It's at Kentucky.
Oof.
It'd be kind of funny.
That would be kind of sweet.
Be kind of funny if that's like their only win for the rest of the season.
Yep.
For Missouri, just stop. As one of the biggest champions of Missouri going into the season, they're not a good team. They're scraped by. I will say this: fucking Brady Cook is a baller and a dog. Did you hear what happened to him in this game?
Mm-mm.
So he gets knocked out in the first quarter, goes to the hospital, gets an MRI, comes back, warms up in the indoor facility at Missouri, which is kind of by the field, gets back in the game at the fourth quarter to lead them for the game-winning drives.
That's insanity.
That's fucking crazy, right?
That's an episode of Friday Night Lights. That's a two-part episode of Friday Night Lights.
That's fucking awesome.
That's crazy. Like, oh my God.
I have infinite respect for him.
Oh, I hate though. Like, I literally hate to see it this time. You worry. I just worry for people that take shots like that sends you to the hospital going back into games.
It wasn't a head injury though, so that was the thing. It was good.
Okay. Oh
yeah, it wasn't.
Usually we say MRI. In my head it was a head injury, and
that would be really, a Friday Night Light.
That's where the Friday Night Lights thing comes in.
Where was I? Wake 23, UConn 20. I just wanted to show you this clip. Wake is not having a good season at all, but anytime you get to see the slow mesh is a beautiful sight. Here's art for everyone out there.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it so much.
Just look at him.
The most obnoxious thing in the world to me, and I don't know why. The slow mesh.
It's disgusting. This is not how God invented football to be played.
I hate the targeting rule. I hate the slow mesh. I hate the term complementary football. Oh, I hate everything about what I just saw.
I think the only thing I hate the slow mesh so much that I almost love it.
I don't think it's like a dog that's so ugly it's cute, man. I think it's just ugly.
Miami 52, Louisville 45. What a fucking game.
Something's gonna happen, and someone's gonna jump up and get Miami just because the ball's not gonna bounce their way for one time.
Also, I feel like this has happened 3 weeks in a row now that they probably ended up getting the right call in this game, but Miami gets like a game-saving call again.
Yeah, man. Yeah, hell of a football game though. Complete shootout. Like I think the over cash by at least the third quarter, if not sooner.
It was chaotic. It was fun. It was everything you want out of a ACC like title race sort of game. Very fun. Virginia 31, Clemson 48. We already talked about it. I think Clemson's. Their offense is good.
I think you could make a case that outside of Georgia, Virginia is the toughest team that Clemson has played.
I think you could definitely make that argument.
And I think that they've got Louisville coming up, and I think Louisville's exactly the kind of team that could jump up and get Clemson.
That one's probably going to be a shootout. I'm looking forward to that one. Arizona State 14, Cincinnati 24. Good on Cincinnati for actually, they looked way better. Satterfield's actually not doing a terrible job this year.
And it seems like Arizona State is either getting epic wins or just, terrible losses.
To be fair, this was, their quarterback was hurt. This was a Jeff Sims led Arizona State. So, for those of you who are like me, who remember the Jeff Sims experience at Nebraska,
And they still got that Skatebo kid or whatever his name is.
He was hurt.
Oh, okay.
Scatabo.
Well, never mind. My criticism is no longer valid, Jim. Let's move to the next game.
Yeah. Where did I have it? Right here. South Carolina 35, Oklahoma 9. You want to talk about a guy who's kind of getting himself on the hot seat? What about Venables?
They fire coaches, man. I think another bad season. I think as if he has a third mediocrity, go to a crappy bowl season, he might even be gone.
Well, the issue now is now you're in the SEC. You're competing with a lot of the big boys now. You need to show improvement here. And the big worry for me is as the season's gone on, their defense has looked worse. Their offense is non-existent. But the biggest thing for me, and what I've always thought has been Oklahoma's biggest strength, even on down years, is they've always had a consistently good offensive line. That has gone completely by the wayside in recent years.
Yeah. And I mean, they're not even hanging their hat on defense like you would expect a Venables team to be able to do. I understand that they lost Dylan Gabriel at quarterback, but it wasn't even a particularly good offense whenever Dylan Gabriel was there.
No, and they're like a worse version of Michigan at this point.
Fair criticism.
Which is, So they need 2 more wins to go to a bowl game. They get one at Maine. Their other best shot is at Missouri. Because they do at Ole Miss, Maine, at Missouri, Alabama, LSU. If they don't make a bowl game, he's
probably...
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a lot of situations in college football that I don't think people are fired this year, but are coming into next year on the hot seat.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think he'd be fired this year, but yeah.
For South Carolina, just good defense. 2 defensive touchdowns in the first quarter.
They're the Iowa of the SEC,
which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Central Mich 34, Eastern Mich 38. Don't fuck with Eastern Michigan, baby.
If Western Michigan won their game, do we consider this a victory week for the victory video?
We do when they did. Western Michigan 48, Buffalo 41. What a week for Directional Mich. I got it here somewhere. Where was it? Where are you, baby? Here it is. Boom. That's what you get. 2 out of 3, and it was impossible for a third to win this week, but good job both Eastern and Western for getting dubs.
Yeah, and for Central, you still get a win because you competed against another Directional Mich.
And it was close. That was a close
Everyone
game.
Wins when Directional Mishes knock heads.
Damn right. Toledo 13, NIU 6. I just bring this up because it's hilarious that NIU's not doing that great in the MAC.
Yeah, that makes Notre Dame's loss look terrible. Poor Bruce. But he's gonna have that job for however long because he beat Notre Dame. He's gonna have that job for life if he wants it.
And they're always. I mean, the MAC's crazy. The MAC, they could win the MAC next year. Who knows? They could turn. The MAC is the most you could go from worst to first easier than any other conference. I think. Up next. UAB 25, USF 35.
USF win. not that great. UAB terrible.
USF also getting a little bit of a skirmish on the sidelines there.
I didn't see this.
It wasn't really a fight. It was just a lot of players jawing at each other for the USF sideline. UAB, I'm just waiting for them to fire Trent Dilfer. It's a when, not if.
Uncle Rico will be so stoked when that happens.
He should just go back to broadcast. Texas State 14, ODU 24. Texas State a little disappointing right now based on the season we projected for them. I think this is loss number 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, I think it's the third. Because I know they definitely had the Arizona State loss. They lost to somebody else.
Was it Sam Houston?
I think so, because Sam Houston only has 1 loss.
Texas State. Yeah, they're 4-3. They've lost to Arizona State, Sam Houston, and ODU.
And ODU, that's tough.
Yeah, ODU's like whatever this year. They're nothing great, but they have a couple of these weird wins. True.
I think the Sun Belt West is going to be interesting going down the stretch.
I think so too. It's gonna be very. We'll talk about it. I got the whole conference breakdown coming up after these games, but it's gonna be very interesting. Charlotte 17, Navy 51.
Palms away, right?
Putting it fucking on, dude. And Charlotte, you know what? You had a nice 2-week stretch. You were never gonna win this.
No.
NC State 24, Cal 23. I'm sorry, Cal, that I'm like rooting for you guys, and now this is happening. They're 0-3 in the ACC.
Man.
By a combined, Chase, they're 0-3 in the ACC by a combined 9 points.
That's so tough. They might have talked too much smack. They might have talked just a touch. Getting billboards in Charlotte and Atlanta talking about them being
great. That's great.
Like, I'm just saying it is great. Don't get me wrong. I love to see it, but like you might have talked just a little bit too much smack. It might be getting your comeuppance for it.
I think this is like where Cal lives though. They're fine. Like they're used to losing and being disappointed. It's a weird space. I think they're just happy to like they're in the public eye.
Yeah, I think and they've put the Calgorithm on the map. You know.
Damn right. Alabama 17, Tennessee 24. This game was atrocious for a good chunk of it.
Yeah, it was, but it's a great win for Tennessee. I'm not sure if I'm behind them tearing down the goalposts again after you beat Alabama just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I don't. Whatever.
I mean, you got the cigars. That's cool enough. Storm the field. Okay. Goalpost.
A little much. Also, Nico, like a lot of overthrows in this one.
Yeah, he looked like he might have gotten hurt for a little bit. We had to come out for like one play. I don't know. It just kind of who wanted to out sloppy the other team for most of this game. Yeah, and Alabama though they tried to do the whole thing with Ryan Williams, and sorry, it's not a one-man show. No, it's not. Michigan 7, Illinois. Oh, go ahead. I saw on Twitter today that he's the only 17-year-old to lose in Neyland Stadium. Ooh. That's fun. Yeah. Michigan 21, Illinois 21 at Michigan 7. Get birded. Illinois is just a good, well-coached team. They're just good. Yeah, man. I'll admit that I haven't gotten to watch any Illinois yet. Do they pound the rock, Jim? They got a good quarterback who's running the ball and he's efficient with the pass. They got a pretty darn good defense. They're efficient and they run pretty well. They're just like overall efficiency is what I think when I think Illinois. I can't wait for him to walk into Wisconsin for a game. Oh, that'll be a good game. Yeah. Notre Dame 31, Georgia Tech 13. I'm not going to take too much away from this. Georgia Tech, Haynes King was out, so. Were we a little bit higher on Georgia Tech than we needed to be? So after looking about a lot of stuff, we were pretty high on Georgia Tech throughout the season. Yeah. They're fine. They're feisty. Yeah. Yeah. Colorado 34, Arizona 7. Colorado's been looking pretty good. They do look good. They're a well-coached team, man. We talked about it in the college football or in the conference previews that, man, they were the hardest team to predict what they were going to do for the entire season. And now I feel like they're even kind of hard to predict what they're going to do each week a little bit because I feel like they're coming in spots a little bit as underdogs sometimes, and they're not like huge favorites in anything.
No, I think you're going to be able to keep a lot of games close. They have a very potent offense. Their defense has been getting, especially their run defense, has been getting better each and every week. And I stand by it. If Colorado can run the ball on you, you're toast. You're done. Baylor 59, Texas Tech 35.
Saw none of this, but wow, Baylor put up 59.
Yeah, against a team that was like leading the Big 12. Texas Tech's defense is Texas Tech's defense, and it has been all season. Someone was going to get him. I just didn't think it would have been Baylor. Good on you, Baylor. I still think that's like almost a dead man walking.
Yeah, Dave Aranda's got to be gone.
He's got to be gone.
Man, do you think, like, if you're the coaches of Texas Tech and, like, before you go into the game, you say you're going to score 39 points this week, that you're like, all right, we won?
I just, based off Texas Tech, like, their whole deal this entire season has been zero. It's like classic Tech. They're playing almost zero defense. What is it? Like, dude, their first game of the season was an overtime win against Abilene Christian, 52-51.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing.
They completely house our North Texas Mean Green, though.
Yeah. That was the crazy one. I thought North Texas would have been able to put points, but every other game, it's like 8-point win against Arizona State, 3-point win against Cincinnati, 6-point win against Arizona. Someone was going to get them.
Yeah.
That Colorado game is going to be like 100-point total.
Oh, that's going to be so much scoring.
There's going to be so much scoring. USC 28, Maryland 29. Terps, baby. USC is another team that's just been like snatching defeat from the jaws of victory recently.
Dude, like how upset with Lincoln Riley are you if you're the USC fan base?
Very. And I will mention it every week. At this point in his tenure, Clay Helton had a better record.
It's true. I saw that stat the other day on television. Yep. Yes.
Very fun.
He's got no excuses at this point.
Zero. And like, I don't know, man. Next year he'll be on the hot seat. He's another candidate for like coming into the season on the hot seat.
I mean, he had a Heisman winner there. I feel like he's done less with more than anybody out there.
It feels that way, right? Talk about it, dude. If he gets fired, if he would be an OC somewhere,
just let him call the X's and O's. Yeah, I think that might suit Lincoln Riley just fine.
That would be hot. A&M 34, Mississippi State 24. Mississippi State put up a fight. This was sort of a slop game, but like I don't know, A&M keeps winning it.
Yeah, much to my surprise and chagrin, A&M keeps winning football games. I don't know how they're doing it. I wish it would stop, and I'm tired of seeing it.
I will say this: if they keep this up, I think A&M Texas at the end of the year is going to be a massive game.
You know that like the musical "The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas" is based off of the Texas A&M game and the trip to the whorehouse, the chicken ranch after.
That's beautiful.
You're aware of the Best Little Whorehouse?
I've heard of it. I know.
Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds. It's fucking great.
Oh, I need to watch it.
Yeah, man.
Damn it.
Dolly Parton's all googly and all over the place.
LSU 34, Arkansas 10.
Oh. I got to think that even with the bye week, this is a letdown spot after playing Tennessee.
I think it almost has to be, right?
Yeah, I think our defense is a little bit better, but I'm going to be honest, dude. I see only 2 more definite wins on the schedule.
You only need 2.
And if they don't, but what I'm saying is if they don't get one of these, or, both of these, it's tough. It's real tough. Then you're talking 4-8, 5-7.
I think the most likely outcome is either 6-6 or 5-7.
And if it's 5-7, then it's likely Mississippi State. We get got by Mississippi State.
Who's playing a little feistier, but also I don't know, man. Arkansas, I think I've said it for a few weeks now. I think you're in the position. You're the team in the SEC that nobody wants to play. Because you drag teams down into the muck.
We drag them in the muck and then we throw rocks at them and turn it into a rock fight. legit talent on defense too. I mean, between was it Landon Dickerson or whatever his name is? I can't remember it, but yeah, between him, we've got like a really good linebacker that transferred in from Georgia. We've got pretty dynamic playmakers at the corner positions, and it's a well coached defense. Like, if something were to happen to Sam Pittman, like I wouldn't mind seeing homeboy get a shot at it.
You guys have just been really kind of like 2 in a row knocking out the defensive coordinator hires.
Yeah. Well, we had a little down period between Odom and.
Oh, okay. There was.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but it wasn't great.
Dream scenario, personally, that way one of us can get a dub in the postseason, is both of us play each other in a bowl game.
At least someone would win. At least someone could feel good. Hey, but Sam Pittman, man, is undefeated in bowl games.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun. Ball State 14, Vanderbilt 24. Almost a letdown spot for Vandy here.
I almost called it, apparently. Yeah, man. No, I don't think that Arkansas is the team that no one wants to play. I think fucking Vandy is the team that no one wants to play.
I think Vanderbilt's just like a legitimate good team in the conference.
Yeah, man. Their offense is clicking. They've got a really dynamic playmaker. And if you have just that quarterback at this level of football, you can win a whole lot of football games. So, I mean, you know who takes some of these coaching jobs we're talking about? Jerry Kill.
I don't know, dude. I think he might just be like kind of chilling.
I don't know. I think he'd be a real attractive hire if they could get him, because he's done some fucking.
He was good at Minnesota.
Yeah,
he was good at Minnesota. Yeah, I think so too. Iowa 20, Michigan State 32. Sloppy, Iowa.
Sloppy. Good for Uncle Rico though.
Oh, great for Uncle Rico. Great win. I think Michigan State's going to be a team to watch next year. Iowa is like just a worse version of what they were last year.
Yeah.
Defensively. Their offense maybe puts up more points, but guess what? Your defense is way worse.
Way worse. Agreed.
I think this is another team we were just kind of wrong on. Georgia 30, Texas 15. That Georgia defense is not to be fucking trifled with. Them dogs hell, boy.
Yeah, man. And I think they're just good enough on offense that they could win a national championship.
Yeah,
I think they're
play good on, like Carson Beck didn't play good, I should say.
No, but I think that they're good enough and they have enough talent on offense that they could make a run at a national championship, because they can obviously score points. Like if you need Georgia to put up like 30 points, then Georgia can put up 30 points. And I have, the utmost confidence in the ability of their defense to hold someone under 30 points.
Yep. I think this is still, I feel like Oregon may be number one. I feel like just the past few years, this time of year, once we get into like November, December, it's Georgia's to lose. Yeah.
I could easily see them jumping back up to one. Oregon stumbles somewhere. They still have to do all the crazy travel that is the Big Ten anymore. So we could see. I think it could be Georgia's to lose this year. This year still. Them or Ohio State.
For the Texas side of things, offensive line bad, defensive line not what it was last year. I don't think this was a quarterback issue. I don't know why you put Arch Manning in this game at all. I don't know why you pull Ewers at any point.
I don't either. I can understand maybe the whole carrot and the stick sort of thing. Like Arch Manning is the stick, to kind of get him, get his head back into the game. But I don't know, dude. Like, I really hope that they don't do try to do like a 2 quarterback thing or start like a quarterback controversy. Like actually, you know what? I take it back. I want to see all of that happen.
I want them to do it just so it falls apart. But also they've been fun to watch. So I don't know. I'm torn. K-State 45, West Virginia 18. We kind of already talked about this one. Avery Johnson hair privileges just been looking better. K-State's a good team.
By the way, your hair privileges are bordering on.
I know. I'm getting a haircut this week, I think.
All right.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. UCF 35, Iowa State 38. Cyclones do it. UCF kind of.
That might be my biggest team I was wrong on because I had them as a dark horse to win the Big 12, and not only that, like my boy's been benched too.
Kentucky 20, Florida 48.
I had Florida on the money line here.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did, buddy.
Yeah, all about that. Hate to see it. Hate to see it, Jim.
Yeah, you just hate to see it. What's that quarterback name for Florida?
Mertz.
No. They're the guy they have in now.
Oh, that's right.
DJ Lagway.
Yeah.
Is putting Lagway in is Napier kind of like they look good with him in? Is he kind of like saving his job a little bit?
Maybe. And Mertz got injured, didn't he?
No. I mean, he got hurt a little bit, but then they just he came back and they pulled him. So
I thought he had hurt his knee.
It's been the Lagway show, and he's been throwing deep balls.
Kind of seems like that whenever Graham Mertz is in there, that's kind of what they're missing. Everything seems to be underneath a little bit, like either that or they're running the ball. So maybe you needed someone to come in and take the top off,
We'll see, because guess what? 2 weeks, it's the cocktail party. They get a bye week this week, and then it's Georgia.
I don't give them a shot in hell.
I don't either. That's a game Georgia just snuffs the light out.
Unless, who do they have after Georgia?
At Texas.
No, after. Or sorry, Florida has them after. Texas after.
Sorry. Yeah, so Florida goes Georgia at Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State.
Okay, who does Georgia have next?
Georgia, after Florida, has at Ole Miss.
Florida could be I don't know. I think
they're both off of a bye week going to that game. I think Georgia lives to just dominate that one.
Do you think where do you rank that rivalry? Do you think they get real up for that game?
I think it's a decent hate-filled rivalry. It's maybe tough now because Georgia's been dominating so long.
Yeah, overall, would you say it's a top 10?
I'd probably put it top 10. Somewhere maybe the 9 to 10 range.
I think it maybe fell out of my top 10 because it's not the cocktail party anymore, technically.
I still call it that. I still call it the Red River Shootout. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
we should put that in your brain. Bracket season, ranking all the college football rivalries.
That's a pretty good one.
That'll be a good one. Where was I? SMU 40, Stanford 10. SMU just been dogging fools.
SMU 40, Stanford 10. Man. Rhett Lashley, touchdown Rhett Lashley. They figured it out. They've got a pretty good quarterback going who's kind of commanding that offense, and they're going so fucking fast, man, that they're hard to stop.
They're so fun too. Yeah, I love this SMU team right now. UNLV 33, Oregon State 25. Big matchup this week, UNLV Boise State. Playoff implications, baby.
Yeah. This is I love that these games at this point in the season are seriously consequential. Love that about the P4 now, or the P5 or whatever.
And you want to talk about a team that at least two of us were wrong with, me and Eric. TCU 13, Utah 7.
Whoa.
Cam Rising hurt. Out the rest of the season.
Yeah, of course. Do you think he's going to get another year?
He did. He gets another year of eligibility.
How in the hell? That's seriously going to be year number 8, right?
I think it's 8 or 9.
Dude, I remember when a guy from Arkansas got a 6th year, and I thought that was bananas.
Okay, 8.
And then
this
COVID
will be year
happened.
number 8 coming up.
That's crazy.
Do you think he transfers?
Man, does he have any tape over the last 2 years?
He's got 2.5 games.
Jesus Christ. Well, you could just show him the Rose Bowl tape, I guess.
You could do that. You know kind of where I would want him to go if he does? Louisville. I think that'd be fun, right?
Could be fun.
Could be fun. The thing with him, I'm out on him finishing a season ever again. I'm just out. Okay, so I wrote down some takeaways, Chase. I want your takes on my takes for this last week. First take: what the fuck is even the Big 12?
It's an amorphous blob that no one can really define anymore. It stretches from sea to shining sea, and it is pretty interesting football because there's no way of telling what's going to happen in the Big 12 down the stretch.
Also seeming this year, parity in the SEC compared to like previous years is kind of nuts.
I don't ever remember this much parity. Like, if you would have told me before the season either Georgia or Alabama wasn't undefeated at this point, I'm not sure if I would have believed you, even though they played each other technically.
There's no SEC team undefeated, right?
I don't think so. I think everyone's lost a game. Because even the teams that are undefeated in the conference have lost non-conference games.
If you would have told me that no SEC team by week 8 was undefeated, I would have not believed you.
Yeah, man. I think it's the good thing about NIL. Like, I think it's actually made parity happen in football because, I mean, maybe the teams aren't as good anymore.
I don't care. It's fun.
It is kind of fun. They are a little bit like mercenaries.
And then a sub take on that one is I feel like Kalen DeBoer has turned Alabama into Washington, and the fact that they ride the tightrope and play a lot of close games, and they're going to play a lot of close games. And he played a lot at Washington, won a lot at Washington. You don't win them all.
No. Do you think that it's just a down year for Kalen DeBoer then?
I think so too. I think also he needs like an all-around great quarterback, and as good as Jalen Milroe is, he's not the passer that Kalen DeBoer kind of needs for his.
He can throw the ball a fucking mile though.
Oh, he can throw it a fucking mile, but anything intermediate, forget about it.
Yeah, he's got talent around him. It could be a really good team, but I don't know. It is kind of turned into a Pac-12 shootout kind of team, hasn't it?
It kind of has, because their defense is not that good.
No.
Now, Chase, we're going to go conference by conference. I'm just going to go through the standings real quick. I want your fast take on where the positioning of this team is. We're going to go alphabetical. So starting in the AAC, we're going to start bottom to top. So at the bottom, you have UAB.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Next up, Tulsa, which makes sense because I forgot about Tulsa. They're one of the most forgettable teams in the country.
They got a big win this week, though.
They did. No, did they win or did they lose to Temple? Or was that earlier in the season?
Oh, they did lose to Temple. That's right. Because I was thinking, what kind of losers lose to Temple? That's the answer.
Tulsa.
Tulsa are the kind of losers.
That's the kind of loser. FAU up next.
Disappointing.
Yeah, Tom Herman needs to step it up. Rice. That's probably the team I was wrongest on.
How are they not at the very bottom? They're the most confounding team ever.
They are a confusing and an enigma of a team. No one knows how to do it. They're 2-5. It's because there's a lot of 1-3 teams in the conference right now.
Yeah,
but they're weird. They're a weird team. Temple up next.
A little bit better than we gave them credit for.
I think they're like they have some fight.
Yeah.
UTSA.
I'm surprised they aren't lower though, as bad as they've been playing.
Lost to Rice.
USF
next. Worse. Okay, much worse than we thought they would be.
We're warming up though in terms of where they are in the conference standings.
ECU.
But below ECU, that's terrible. Well, we've had a coach fired, so it's time to bet ECU.
It is. I'm going to be getting on ECU this week. North Texas. Now we're getting into like the actual good teams. North Texas.
I think their only hiccup on the season really was that loss to Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think so. They're 5-2. They have a pretty good season. I mean, they kept it sort of close with Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis pulled away. That Texas Tech game was like terrible for them. But outside of that, they've been a pretty good football team.
Yeah, they're. I'm very intrigued. November 9th, they play Army. Yeah,
That could be a shootout.
that could be. Up next, Charlotte. In the top 5 of the AAC.
Well, I think I don't know if we're supposed to respect Biff Poggi now, or if we're supposed to disrespect him. I don't know how this all works when they're winning games.
We'll see. We'll see if they can keep that up. Their wins are against Rice and ECU.
Yeah.
In conference. Up next, Memphis.
Kind of disappointing.
Yeah, that defense is trash. Tulane. I think Tulane's better than we thought they would be.
I think I was fairly high on Tulane still, even without Willie Fritz. I think it's more because I just can't let the fighting Squidbillies go, dude. Like, that's the best logo in sports.
It is so damn good. And then Navy and then Army up top.
Yep.
Next, I think I'm just gonna blast through these other ones. We're gonna go like top 5. ACC: Clemson, Miami, SMU, Pitt, Duke. Any surprises?
Duke.
Yeah, Duke's kind of surprising for me.
Pitt's a surprise as well.
Yeah, and then you have FSU, UNC, Cal at the bottom.
I think the only surprise that I have is FSU. I could see UNC having a down year with no Drake May.
I definitely could too. Big 12, BYU, Iowa State, Kansas State, Texas Tech, Cincinnati is your top 5.
You really want BYU to pull it out, right?
Dude. Either them or Iowa State, because I have a future on Iowa State, but I would love BYU pulling it out.
What's the future? Is it to make the playoff, or is it to...
No, Iowa State to win the Big 12.
Ooh, what'd you get that at?
I need to look. I think I got it like 12 to 1, 10 to 1.
Nice.
Like that. Pretty good. CUSA, Liberty, Western Kentucky. Your Jacksonville, Jacksonville State still right there at 3rd. Sam Houston, FIU.
Sam Houston's a really good football team, man. I think they're probably my biggest surprise because they're having the biggest turnaround from last year to this year. Jacksonville State a little bit underwhelming.
I think so. I think really Houston's like a 2-horse race between Liberty and Western Kentucky.
No, totally. And I would like to see Western Kentucky win that 2-horse race.
Yes. I think everyone would.
Yeah, and we get to see that, this week?
Yes. Big game.
Big game.
Western Michigan, for the MAC, Western Michigan, Buffalo, Bowling Green, Miami of Ohio, and Toledo. So it's... Buffalo's surprising to me.
I watched them play their opener against... It was like... oh, God, they're the Leopards. Lafayette.
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of impressed with them against Lafayette. I was on the. It seems like I'm on them on the wrong weeks for the money line, but they seem scrappy each week. Like every week, I feel like Buffalo can knock someone off.
Yeah, feisty. And again, the MAC will always be one of the more exciting conference races.
Totally.
Always. Mountain West, UNLV, Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, San Jose State. Another conference that just feels like a 2-horse race.
Totally. And we'll have a resolution to that 2-horse race this week as well.
Also, you want to talk about a team we were wrong on all the way down at the bottom in the Mountain West? Air Force.
Yeah, what happened, dude?
Dude, I don't know. This is a bad year for them. SEC is Texas A&M, LSU, Georgia, Tennessee, and Missouri.
Blows my mind that Texas A&M and LSU are technically on the top of the standings right now.
And at the bottom, Chase, the bottom 3 teams.
Yep.
Last place, Mississippi State.
Yep.
Then Auburn.
Yep.
Then Kentucky.
It just feels so warm and good all over my skin.
I thought
I've got like goosebumps, but they feel warm. They don't feel cold, Jim. It's amazing. God,
I thought you would like
that was like serious ASMR that you just did to me.
I thought you would like that. Big Ten, Indiana, Oregon, Penn State, Illinois, Wisconsin.
Maybe Wisconsin being up in the top 5 is a little bit of a surprise, but not too far off. I
think a lot of these are like tied. Like Wisconsin. Oh, so Ohio State's right there too. Ohio State, Wisconsin, Illinois all have one conference loss. Penn State, Oregon, Indiana, obviously undefeated.
Yeah, well, the obvious surprise is Indiana.
Yeah, that's the crazy one for me. Sun Belt, in the East, you have Georgia Southern, Marshall, ODU. In the West, it's Louisiana, ULM, Texas State.
Texas, what if I had told you that ULM was going to be ahead of Texas State in the conference standings at any point in the season, much less this far along?
Dude, if you would have told me that ULM, what's their record right now?
They're like 6-1.
5-1.
5-1.
With an only loss to Texas.
To fucking Texas.
Yeah, I would have called you crazy. This team, ULM could fuck around and win the Sun Belt.
Absurd.
What were their odds?
I have no idea. They had to have been in the 30s, maybe 40s, 50-1.
Let me take a look at Vegas Insider, see what it was to win the Sun Belt early on. If they had it, futures odds. Is this opening odds? They were 400-1.
400-1?
Plus 40,000. Like,
man. How would you like to be the guy with that ticket, dude? That would be.
Oh, that feels good.
Yeah, man. Good for ULM. Is
that
still? Wait, that's not still Terry Bowden though, right?
No. It is. It's so the funny part about the whole Dilfer situation is that the guy who's coaching ULM right now,
He was the interim at UAB.
He was the interim at UAB.
That's right.
Beautiful to see. Chase, at this halfway point in the season, last question. We're not even going to talk NFL today. Screw that. Who was your national championship? Like, what is your national championship matchup right now at this halfway point?
I'm going to say Georgia. Oregon. Georgia, Oregon. I'm boring.
I'm going to do it. I was going to say Georgia wins, but I'm going to have Georgia, Indiana.
Georgia, Indiana. I'm
thinking Indiana's going to be that team that makes the magic run and then, like, gets blown out in the national championship.
Could be, man.
It's happened,
it's tough.
2 years in a row now?
They look good and all. That's 4 games, man. You got to win 3 games to get there.
Unless they get the bye.
I guess they could get the bye if they win the Big Ten, right?
Yeah. They could get the bye.
They could get the bye. I wonder what the odds on them to get the bye would be.
What are Big Ten future odds? Let's see what the odds are in the Big Ten right now. Let's take a look, and then we will get out of here. If I get my internet to work. What do you think the odds are for Indiana right now?
15-1. 20-1.
14-1, 16-1, 15-1, depending on where you shop. Opening, they were 300-1.
I love college football, man. I
love this sport. Chase, any parting words for the people?
No, it's been a long one. It's been a good one.
It's been a great time. This college football season goes too fast. Just embrace it. Enjoy it while you can, folks. It's already week 8. Just hug it. Hug it tight.
I'm still feeling warm from that Auburn, Kentucky.
That factoid?
Yeah, that got me all
feels good.
Goosebumpy.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Follow him at Of Oaklawn everywhere. Follow me at XFL Jim. Follow the show. Give it a like. Give us a follow. We love you guys. We'll see you next time for another episode of the Jimnasium. Bye-bye.